Hello guys, it's me Ariel's Magical Arts in the other channel Timeclock. So today's video I'm going to show the behind the scenes of the planning of the first Timeclock book. Yes, I say first because it was going to be a second book. I'm announcing now. The planning of the second book is actually on set, by the way. I'm not actually finished with the planning yet, but y'all are going to find out today why. So, to start off this behind the scenes video, I'm going to talk about the important characters. So, as you can see, first of all, I actually did of the important characters. But I didn't put all the characters, and I think I should have planned the all the characters that were going to be that were actually in the first book. If you know, there are more characters than I actually planned in the first book, like Cheetah, I think it's the boss of these soldiers, something like that. Um, Carmela, Brosco, Chan. Well, Chan was already planned, but you know, Carmela, Brosco, um, what other characters? Other show and two Time Spies, and some of the Time Spies members actually don't remember all of their names. The one I remember is Chinino, Kainer. There's one that I think it's, anyways, but you get the point. I should have added all of the characters for the first book because trust me, adding characters as you tag along and not planning them can make the a book less sense. It has a risk of that. So if you actually plan, if you're like me that likes to add more than I usually plan, um, my advice is to take a picture of what you added and put them into a notes section. Y'all are going to see. So as you can see, the important characters that you all know from the first book. Also, spoiler alert, by the way, because I may say some stuff from the first book that are actually spoilers. Warning. So where are all the characters? Shed Lilin was supposed to be a very important character in the first book, but I'm adding her into the second. She has a more important role, as well as Leon. Anyways, in the lore, I did the lore about the kingdoms a little bit, but the second book, there are going to be more lore about the kingdoms. A lot more. Y'all going to get spoiled. Second book with the lore. Like, y'all going to be like, damn, she's adding more. Anyways, I also added lore backstories. So, within the characters, I actually added backstories, but I didn't add them as much in the first book. But the second book, they're going to be added a lot. So I'm just going to scroll all over them because you don't know about this. Yeah, I don't want you guys to know all of them yet. There's also Mercury Powder, one of the characters that were supposed to be in the first book, but we're going to have a more important role in the second. I also added lore about the planet Onicuti, about its curation and the ground special traits. You guys probably know a little bit of them in the first book, but there are some of the things I added here that I didn't add in the first one. Y'all are going to see it in the second book. Just saying. Anyways, for the main story, there are some stuff that actually changed. It's like the trigger, a little bit about the beginning, because it says no more missions being done during the day, but it was one mission. It was in the Arts Museum. A little bit of change. Also the Time Spies weren't in the beginning, were more in the following situations. The trigger, it was supposed to be a strange entity with the spiritual raiders attack our beds until the crystal stone burst stop that it triggers. And this triggers the alarm in the Time Spies building. It was supposed to be that, but as you probably heard, where during the mission in Art Museum, spoiler alert, there was a slime monster that actually wanted to destroy the Art Museum. That was the trigger. We replaced it with that. And then the following situations, the destruction of the Art Museum, destruction of art feds, yeah. The many searches and analyzations, so emotional moments between the history agents, and even Aquilino. Some discoveries, betrayals. What more? What more? Evasions. A lot more destruction of the entire planet done by Carmela, Roscoe, and Sean. And spoiler alert, Carmela is the twist villain. I don't want to. If you guys haven't read the first book, don't look at the video. Anyway, and we're supposed to have a lot. Oh. Yeah. The following situations was supposed to be what you guys probably read by right now, then it's trying to stop the rampage from happening. But either way, it is kind of what I planned. But the thing below, the time clock becomes weak for the movement of the crystal statue and burst off outfits. I actually decided to remain that the pearl stuff was removed in outfits, but not done by Liao, but by Chan. A character change that actually makes sense. If you have read the first book, it makes sense. Before the end, when Carmela reveals herself that she's a villain, she turns into a shadow and her brother too, and they destroy the whole planet. And then the three guardians that I don't remember their name. A little bit of lore here if you don't remember, if you have read the first book. But three guardians that protect the time clock and the midi planets. The time clock. So, Planet Odenkoti ain't the only one that exists. They are in a timeline called Timeclock, which are 999 planets. And every day there's always one planet that dies and one planet that gets created to kind of have a balance. And every planet has a balance of positivity and negativity. And I think you guys already guessed it in the first book. The three guardians, their job is to protect the time clock and the planets from getting any disbalance. So when they saw that the planet of the Keti was supposed to be destroyed, they decided to remove all of its population to the time clock and move them into one of the kingdoms that they wanted to be saved, which was Crystalline. When the whole population got in Crystalline, they actually reunited all of the powers to gain back the original look of Crystalline. If you don't know, Crystalline was a hidden kingdom under outfits. Which, by the way, will have more lore in the second book. Wink, wink. Anyway, you guys get it. At the end, the planet gets entirely saved. Yay! So, yeah. So, this was supposed to be before the end. When it goes to the river line, the whole planet is stable. I'm just saying like that. But a new threat arrives. Cliffhanger. If you guys don't remember, at the end of the first book, at the end, Leon looks through a pearl and he sees something interesting. I'm not saying if this is a new threat that arrives, but just giving you something, a little hint. So, the thing I said, begin to put on notes, yeah, this is something I added at the end of creating the first book, which I should have added in the beginning. But for the second book, with having in mind that I can't put something more than I plan, I decided to put a note section in advance. So if in the stories, if it's something more to the lore that I created as I talk along, that I haven't planned, I take a picture of it and I put it in the notes. By the way, it will be in chronological order, so if I want to know something about something that I in the very, very start, I can look at the very, very start of my notes. And trust me, I think there's going to be a lot of pictures. But anyways, But it's mostly about the story that it will change, but the lore won't change. So planning the lore for the second book, it's something just to say. So, anyways, now about an announcement that I want to make. In the following days, we will see videos about the important characters of the first book. After the second book will be created, it will have the same tradition of showing all the characters. Not just the important characters of the second book, but all the characters that will be added, and also some characters of the first book that I haven't done illustration of, which will be like extra drawings to do, which I don't mind. But anyways, and if there's a lot of the characters of the first book that will return in the second. Anyway, so it also is going to be a video about what is the project behind Timeclock 1, Timeclock 2, the possible prequels and the possible over sequels that will be created, miniseries. Anyway, after that, I'm gonna do all of the characters of the important characters of the first book. I'm going to make this parts. I'm going to make a video about this. It's possible that there's going to be different parts about showing the future of Timeclock as I go from section to sections, but this is something that's going to be the future that I think will be cool. So anyway, if you guys like this video, smash the like button, comment down below, share it with anyone you want them to know about this video. If you have read the first book, subscribe to Timeclock to know more about the book series, and subscribe to my main channel, Art's Magical Art, where I post art content. So if you don't only want to look at Timeclock content, there's also my main channel. Wink wink. So anyways, all of that said, see you all to the characters and planning the future of Timeclock. Bye guys!